Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on this extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time. Hey, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nikki.
And welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine.
And whine about our stressful working moms' lives. And hopefully offer up some resources that will help both us and you guys.
Which I think might actually happen today versus last week.
It might.
So we are once again meeting separately. We're going to try this again, see if I can be better at the audio. Which wine are you drinking today?
Okay, so today's wine, this is a fun one, is called 19 Crimes Cali Red. 19 Crimes, each type of wine is based on a different person who's had a criminal record. So it says 19 Crimes. 19 Crimes tells the true story of rule breakers who beat the odds, overcame adversity, and went on to become folk heroes in their society. This spirit lives on today through innovators and culture creators like Cali's own Snoop Dogg. A leader in contemporary pop culture, Snoop embodies the timeless values of the 19 Crimes rogues who came before him. To learn more about this and similar stories, please visit our website, 19crimes.com. There's also a QR code on each bottle that you can scan to kind of learn about the person, their story, their crimes, all that stuff. And the cork, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, the cork has Snoop on it.
So what's funny is I have tried that wine before, and I just assumed it was like his label, because I also got the Snoop Dogg one.
I would have
fun.
thought so too.
The others. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've also had the Martha Stewart Chardonnay.
That was going to be my next question. Like, if you do Snoop, you have to do Martha.
I did. So when my, at the time, boss told me about it, it was right before New Year's Eve last year. And so when I was going to mom and dad's for our little New Year's Eve family party, I bought Snoop and Martha.
Oh my gosh.
It was fun.
I bet those are the two that sell together the most.
Yeah. But it's delicious.
Well, good. I have a white today again. I was at the store and they happen to have an Apothic White, the winemaker's blend. It's a semi-dry and it has peach, pineapple, honey, and vanilla spice. I almost feel like it's misclassified. It's sweeter than I would expect a semi-dry to be, probably because of the vanilla. But it's good.
Nice. Makes a little.
Yeah, I can hear myself. So if there's another echo on this one, sorry.
It is what it is, y'all. We're trying.
I have echo cancellation like clicked, but whatever.
Yeah, me too.
So today we're going to whine about goal setting because January is coming up and everybody's going to start making their New Year's resolution. And I mean, we set goals throughout the year too.
Yeah.
And families and work lives and children and other obligations can make it very hard to stick to those goals. Like I told myself I was going to do NaNoWriMo this year and I wrote one day out of November.
Yeah, goals are hard, and the beginning of the year is just a great time to really focus on that. A lot of people are focused on it, so you're going to be surrounded by that information on social media and things. So it's just a good time to really remind yourself to sit down and refresh what you want from your life and where you'd like how you'd like to plan to get there, and really, learning more about how to break those down into doable steps. And a lot of times that's kind of what I wind up doing with people in their therapy sessions, is really taking something that they want and breaking it down into actionable steps. So it's a good time of year to really start examining that, and definitely have some resources on that one.
Yeah. The Atomic Habits book that I have up on our affiliate links is a really good one for that.
Yeah.
We have small groups at work where we do different things, but one of the options is you can read a book and discuss it. And I knew nothing about atomic habits going into it. And I was like, that sounds cool and sciencey. Are we going to use our brains? And you do, but he's talking about breaking things down into little tiny pieces and then building tiny little habits up to your goal. And
Habit
he
stick.
has, yes, and he has a lot of really good stories. I am not usually a person who enjoys self-help books, but I really enjoyed Atomic Habits. So I
Oh,
would
I love
definitely
self-help
recommend,
books.
yeah, I would definitely recommend giving that one a try. Well, a lot of them you're like, oh, you told me a bunch of things I already know and I spent $20 on this book or whatever. But with
Mhm.
Atomic Habits, it gives you an actionable plan and it's very easy to implement, which I like. So definitely check that one out. But I think that's very important, having those building blocks that where you establish those tiny habits and the habits lead to your ultimate goal. And time
Right.
blocking. Time blocking is something that we use at work a lot that is really valuable. It's like, okay, this is the amount of time and the time of day I'm going to spend on administrative tasks, and these are the times I'm going to call, and this is the 15 minutes here, 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 and here that I'm going to allow myself to take breaks.
Mhm.
What helps you put your goals into bite-sized pieces?
So I like to first sit down and make the big ask, the big goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to break it down into something that's like self-improvement, something that's health related, and then something that's financial. And so I
Ooh,
kind of pick my top three like big goals. And
I'm
then
writing that
I break them down into what we call SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So you got to
down.
make
Yeah,
the goal specific, and it has to be, you can measure if you completed it or not, and it has to be something that's reasonable to complete in that amount of time and be time bound. So I look at it in a year, like as in this year, what do I want to do? And then I break those down even further into, okay, if
mm-hmm.
this is the end of the year, what do I have to do each month to get there? And then what do I have to do each week to get there? And really break it down for myself. Do I always stick to that? No. But that is what we encourage people to do in therapy, is to make them SMART goals and really focus on those specific elements to make sure that it's not just some big grand sweeping statement that you make that's really not actually put into practicable.
Yeah,
If that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, they that was another thing that we learned about at work. They do a lot of learning and development courses,
Mhm.
and the SMART acronym was one of the things they went over. And maybe it's just because I'm not in that field, but I had never heard that one before, and I was like, oh, I really like this idea.
Yeah, it's a great way to break it down. Um, and if you're really like utilizing each of those words, then it really is a goal that is going to be achievable, and realistic, and all those things are so important, because a lot of times we do have big sweeping goals in our mind that we'd really love, but it's not like, it wouldn't be attainable for me to be a millionaire at the end of next year as much as I would love it. That's not possible. So it really helps you to keep things realistic in a way that keeps you moving forward and also not stopping due to disappointment,
Yeah.
or failure. So
Is there a goal
gotta
that
break
you've
it down.
is there a goal that you've set for yourself that you have tried over and over to do, but you keep finding that things are getting in the way, like it's hard for you to achieve that one specific goal?
Yeah, losing weight.
Yeah.
Every year I have a health goal, and it's usually something more like, increase strength, um, lose, something reasonable, like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, something like that.
Sure.
But it's usually the one I lose sight of the fastest. And I don't know that it's very realistic for me, simply because my life is very stressful right now, and it's not stresses I can get rid of.
Mhm.
So when your body is stressed, it makes that beautiful cortisol hormone way too much, which holds on to fat, especially in your abdominal area, which is where I carry most of mine. So I'm fully aware that that's a key component And I've been this last year I tried some natural remedy type supplement things to help, and it
Mhm.
didn't help with the weight loss like I thought it would, but it did help me in another way. So I still take it.
Well, hey.
But it didn't do what the original goal was, but it's those, and the fitness goals that go along with that. I know if I want to lose
Yeah.
weight, I have to, maybe my goal is I want to walk a mile each day. I have an indoor treadmill, so that would be, doable no matter
Yeah.
what. But when I lose time, that is the first thing to go. Those are the first items to go from my day.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're the most expendable in our
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one I struggle with that I really need to up my game on this year. Last year, I really upped my game on my financial goals, really making sure that I understood what measurable steps I could take to improve my finances in the next year, but not just my immediate finances, but like my long run stuff.
Mhm.
So I've done a lot of movement on that this year, but there is
And now that
actually,
Nikki's done all that research, we're gonna make her talk about it in a future
that's right.
episode.
I'm going to bring that info straight to you.
And to me.
Do you want to talk about your answer to that question before I go into this resource that just came into my brain?
Sure. I think mine is pretty similar. Obviously, so the audience may not know this depending on when you joined us in our lives, but we used to be toothpicks. And I miss that.
Yeah,
I don't care to be a toothpick anymore, but I miss being able to not feel uncomfortable in certain clothes. Um, and I
exactly.
know that's a me thing, but you just have so many more options when you have less kid fat on your body.
Amen.
um, so yes, weight loss has been a big one of mine. Also, I'm on blood pressure medication and I would like for that to stop. And so I would need to lose weight. And it's so funny because you'll go somewhere and they'll take your blood pressure reading and it's high and you're like, "Yeah, I'm on medicine for it." Um, and they'll start talking to you about salt. Sodium is not my problem. Like, yes, I season with salt, but I am not the person that like dumps a whole bunch of salt on stuff or puts salt
Right.
on everything. My problem
Yeah.
is the stress. I
It
am 100% sure, not a
is stress.
doctor, that it is the stress raising my blood pressure. So, but obviously losing weight would help. And being less stressed would help me lose weight. But my thing, I went on such a tangent there, is I don't want to sacrifice any more of my sleep than I already am. There are some nights where I'm at work till 10, and that means I'm not home till practically 11 because of our drive. Every morning I have to get up already at 6 or 6:30 to get the kids started on their school schedule, depending on if they have before school activities or if it's a normal school day. But either way, by the time I go to bed and by the time I get back up the next morning, I don't really want to get up at 5 or 5:30 just to make sure I can work out.
Yeah.
My job is
Same.
very generous. Yeah. They did give us a free membership to, like, we got to choose from a few different gyms. Yes.
Walk
And I
free.
purposefully chose the one that even offers watching your kids. But I just feel like by the time I run and get Jack and run back towards the house and it's getting late and I know I have to run everyone through their homework and their bedtime routines, I could leave for work a little earlier and do it before work, something like that, but I just haven't gotten in the habit of doing that. It's also a matter of if I do that, there's less time to spend with Brandon before work and we don't see each other a lot during the evenings because one or the other of us is always at work.
Yes.
So definitely some challenges there. We do have a track at work, and any day where I feel like I have enough free time, I try to walk at least 15 minutes around the track, or sometimes when I'm having one-on-ones with people from my team, we'll either walk around outside in the parking lot or walk the track inside if it's cold. So I'm trying to be more active, but we'll see. And I like drinking, so
Yes, exactly. That's a problem too.
yeah.
And that does not help with the weight loss.
I
So,
did lose a lot more easily when I wasn't drinking for a while. And it wasn't like I just purposefully was like, I'm not going to drink. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. and I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been drinking for a while, and I lost a lot of weight, and I was like, wow, how's this happening? Oh.
Yeah, I agree.
So what resource do you have?
Oh, so there's this chick I found on TikTok. I spend too much time on TikTok.
No such thing.
Um, and her name is Amy, and she wrote an actual book and has like a course you can take and things like that too, based on just a life experience she had, and it's called the This Time Next Year Challenge, and it's how to change your life in 365 days. She
Ooh.
had kind of like a personal breakdown. She had moved away from her family. She had quit her job to marry this guy, and then the engagement fell through, and like her whole life fell apart, basically. And so she really had a hard chat with herself and wanted to change her life, and kind of came up with a system of how she does it and tracks it, and really has spent a lot of time during COVID motivating people to do the same. And she wrote a book about it. And there's also a workbook that has like all the steps in it that you can kind of fill out. You can join groups or courses with her to do it with other people. The username is at it's underscore Amy Rebecca, and it's AIMEEREBECCA. So it's underscore Amy Rebecca. But you can also just search the This Time Next Year challenge. It'll come up. Um, she's on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, but I think her YouTube is a little less about that and more about other things. But yeah, it's a great resource. It's great motivation. And when you really want to make positive changes in your world, the best thing you can do for yourself is surround yourself with other people or information that's doing the same thing. So if you go into your social media and just start following a bunch of people with goals as their hashtag and that make their social media presence about goal setting and goal attaining, and you know, surround yourself with that information and really make your algorithm all about it. It helps remind you, it helps keep you focused, and makes also for a little bit more productive scrolling. So there's that.
That is true. If you're
Yeah.
joining us on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment about what your hardest goal to keep so far is.
Yeah.
Especially if it's recurring. It would be very interesting to see if weight loss tops it, or if there's some other things that people are struggling with.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can support each other as we are trying to get our goals done.
Yeah.
One of the things I
Agreed.
used to do, and I haven't done this in a while, is like when I felt like I did not have enough time to work out, I would just do some random things throughout the day that would get my heart rate up. Or like you can do like standing push-ups against the wall, things like that. So like if I had a minute, I would just be like, all right, I'm gonna go do like 25 of these, and like later on in the day I might do 25 more.
Yeah.
Or going up and down the stairs a lot, like there's a lot you can do that you don't always think about when you're at the house. So,
Yes.
or at work for that matter. We're lucky enough to have standing desks too. I should stand more than I do.
I also have a sit to stand desk.
Yeah. It's really like once I get engaged in conversation with someone, it's really easy to like pop it up and I'm walking around anyway, and then maybe I'll keep it up while I'm working things up after I talk to them. But it's also really easy for me to be like, oh, I'm going to sit down and eat now. And then I don't get back up when I'm done. So I need to be
Yeah.
more disciplined.
That's kind of how I do it too. I usually start out standing and I do as much as I can. And, in the morning it's easier because I'm working, but I'm also running to check on Ari's progress to get ready for school. And I'm
Right.
going back and forth a lot. And then I clock in for my lunch break to drive her to school. And I come back. And then I usually stand for a little while longer, but then I get coffee and my breakfast. And then I lower it to sit down and eat. And then
Yeah.
I don't always get back
Feels
up.
weird standing up and eating.
Yes, I don't want to stand up and eat.
Yeah. And I'm not at home when I'm doing it. So I'm always like, are the people next to me watching me eat? I'm always like, this is a little awkward, but I'm just not going to make
Awkward.
eye contact. Everything gets in the way.
It does. It does. All the things that come and get into the way. I
Yeah.
think the habit stacking is something important to talk about. When you want to make a big
Oh,
change, you have to break it
yes.
down in these tiny steps. And it's more successful if you attach that new activity to something you already do every single
Yeah.
day. and then
Yeah.
stack upon that.
Some people go really extreme with it. I don't remember there was some example where someone was in a kitchen and they're like, I usually stand there and make my coffee. So while I'm making my coffee, I'm also tying my running shoes or something like that. Like they added it to that way when they're at the coffee machine, they're triggered to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say there was something that they stacked with brushing teeth too, but obviously it wouldn't be the coffee. So
Yeah, that wouldn't taste too good.
yeah.
I think that's a problem I have is a lot of times I want to have this fabulous morning routine, but I don't make my coffee till I get back from dropping Ari off at school and I'm
Mhm.
already working. And then it's like, well, how much can I really stack? Like I get a minute here, a minute there to step away from my desk. I don't want to do any of those things before I have my coffee or do my sweating for the day or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of sweating, I'm going to take
it
this
gets
hoodie
away
off.
from me. And then before you know it, it's the end of the day and you're like, oh, I got to go to bed.
Yeah. That's yeah. If I even try to set my alarm early, I'm immediately like, nope. And then when it does go off, Lucas is getting up and getting in the shower, and then I'm showering while he showers, and then I'm making lunches, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to push him through the morning routine. Like he's very good about that now that he's older. But at 7, the rest of them get up, and that's when it really starts because you got to keep pushing Silas every step of the way. Right now, he's only 6. You have Ari, and
Yeah.
then I have like by the time they get on the bus, maybe an hour before I go into work. And so I'll try to get something done around the house. There's one weekday a week where I stay home all day, so I try to catch up a lot on housework then. And that honestly could be a day that I set aside for working out if I was really thinking about it. Then I can at least get one day a week.
It's
But
a starting place.
yeah, yeah. But then you go to work and you come pick up your 3-year-old and then you go home and then it's time for running through all the bedtime routines and the neighbors even had to feed them dinner because the neighbors are watching your kids while you're at work. And then when everyone's in bed, I don't want to do anything. And you don't want to work out at that point anyway, because then you're just going to keep yourself awake.
Right. Just gonna get all those chemicals pumping that make you feel awake and alive and not wanting to fall asleep.
I mean, maybe if I could stick with my goal of finishing my books, I could make some royalties and not have to work. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you have any side projects you've been trying to do that haven't gotten done?
No,
Yeah.
I work my side hustle, and I cart
You
Ari
don't try
back
to
and
craft
forth.
or anything?
What?
You don't try to craft anything or
Not anymore. That's probably
yeah.
something that should come back into my world for some me time. But I'll be honest, when I had Ari, I was definitely one of those moms who just lost sight of everything that was personal about me. And it
It
all
happens.
became about surviving infanthood and
Yeah.
toddlerhood. And I felt very alone in the parenting of things, even when we were still married.
Yeah.
So it very much it very much felt to me like being a single mother the entire time. And
Yeah.
so I didn't go out. I didn't do anything. I did insist on one day a week to myself, one day a week where he had to be the person to wake up early in the morning, and take care of the baby. And I got to go do whatever I want without having to basically ask permission. I said on Sundays are going to be my days where it's just expected and understood that you are home with Ari all day or
Yeah.
taking care of her all day wherever you are.
Yeah.
um, and that I can make plans with whoever I want or myself to do whatever I want, and I automatically know that you're in charge of Ari,
Yeah.
because otherwise it was always automatically me. Even when he was home, if he had been out late the night before
Mhm.
and wanted or needed to sleep in the morning, and I had something I needed to do in the morning, I had to find a babysitter.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, it was really not supportive. I hate really talking about it too much because I don't think it's unfair. I don't think it's unfair. I don't think it's fair to give my one side of the story. I'm sure he'd have a rebuttal, but I was always a people pleaser, and I didn't want to push the bounds. I didn't want to speak up. I didn't want to say anything. So I did create that one day for myself where I could do that kind of stuff. And I usually did not use it to craft or do those kinds of things I used to do. I had a friend who knew people in the movie theater business and could give the friend passes out or whatever. So we went and watched a lot of movies,
I used
ate
to know
out,
someone
went
like
shopping.
Yeah. Those were the good days. Now you have to
Right?
pay, and they're
I know.
expensive.
Oh, so expensive. But I really lost sight of it. Like I used to crochet. Well, not crochet. I loom knit. I used to do stained glass with one of my friends.
To
I
be
wasn't
fair,
very good at it, but I
you
did know
have
how to do
crocheted
it.
scrunchies.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I told our crochet
I
small
have
group at
crocheted
work.
scrunchies.
They're like, okay, who has prior experience? And I'm like, my prior experience is crocheting scrunchies on drives to Florida. And I guarantee you that's not real crocheting.
It
I knew like
was a
one.
real like simple single loop over
Right.
and over. But that
Exactly.
was
We were
it.
doing the single stitch.
Yeah.
But there's double and treble, and then you learn to make a magic ring, and that's how they make the little dolls and stuff. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, I did learn a lot. I haven't gotten to put it into practice a lot. But I did make a circle, and I went around it a couple of times. And that is something that I'm hoping to stick to and maybe like make. Initially, I thought I'd make a bee because I have yellow yarn and it's convenient. And bees seem simple if you're going to do crocheting in the round. But the guy who leads the group is Jewish, and he used to, I think he still does, crochet custom. I forget what they're called.
Is it the yarmulke?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And there's another word he used for it too, but it means the same thing.
Yeah.
But he would make custom ones, and one of the things people loved about when he went to service was seeing what he was going to wear that week. So that was really fun too. But
Cool.
yeah.
I like that. And happy Hanukkah to those who are listening.
But yeah,
We are in our holiday gear today as well. I've got my Spirit jersey on that's got the holiday snacks.
Love it.
From the
Santa
parks.
with a candy cane.
Amanda is Santa.
I tried to make a mistletoe. What was I thinking? Oh, so I was thinking about changing. I've been doing Working Moms Whine About Whatever. I was thinking about titling this one Santa Claus is a Working Mom. So I
That's
might
a good
do
one. I
that,
like that.
like a fun clickbaity title.
Yeah. I failed today on the wine glass. I should have done my Jingle Bell one, but today I'm feeling a little more murdery vibes. It says wine because murder is wrong.
But if you look at the colors on the back of the glass, they're very similar to the light colors.
It's true.
Right?
And the glass
Also,
is made by the same person, so.
My cube is my row actually is decorating in a Charlie Brown theme for our decoration contest.
Okay.
And I was thinking about making one, but here we go. My goal was to do handmade decorations, and I failed. So I ordered Charlie Brown's pathetic little Christmas tree. But we're all going to dress up like a character.
Oh.
And we have the tree, and we have Lucy's. We did hand make Lucy's psychiatric booth. And then the guy who's dressing up as Schroeder is an actual musician, so he's going to bring his keyboard in. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
Lucy's 5-cent psychiatric booth. That's exactly what insurance will reimburse a therapist for a session.
I know that vision boards are a popular way to visualize your goals. So if you're not someone, like I'm the kind of person, I want to make a list and check it off, or write a bunch of notes about something and maybe organize it into, I guess that's also a visual thing. If I take those notes and organize it into like crap, what am I thinking of? Like a document, like a colorful document. But some people will take vision boards and cut things out of magazines like we used to do when we were kids.
Yes.
Or, yeah, write words, put stickers on there, whatever helps you visualize different things. So I really like to buy nail polish from Holo Taco now. And Christine, the girl behind all of that, has made vision boards for like some of her collections and things like that. I've seen people at work use vision boards for vacations they want to take or things they want to accomplish. I have never used a vision board myself. They do look cool. They remind me kind of like it's like having Pinterest. What kind of vision board or boards have you made?
You guys are gonna laugh at me.
It's Disney.
No, actually.
Oh.
Back in the day when The Secret was a huge thing, a big part of The Secret was law of attraction, attracting the things to you that you wanted. And a big part of that was dreaming big and making a vision board about it. So, in the vision board, you had things like I wanted a dog, and my at the time husband was very against that. So I put a picture of a tiny little cute puppy, and I put a picture of a house because I wanted to own a home. And I put a picture of the kind of car I would like to have. We were always kind of used car to used car.
So what I'm hearing is manifestation works.
Sort of. it was definitely a few years down the road, and my vision board didn't last that long, but I did get all those things eventually, and then they fell apart, and now they're back together, better than ever. But yeah, it's you cut out little pictures that represent the goals that you have and the things you want to stay focused on, and you put it somewhere where you're going to look at it every day and look at it every day and keep your focus on those things. And well, I don't necessarily believe that just thinking about the things you want will bring them to you without further effort from you. I do think it is a good thing especially for someone who's more visually inspired, focused, that sort of thing, to have some sort of vision board, some sort of thing that you see all the time that reminds you why you're working as hard as you are, what you're working for, what you're working towards, what your goals are. A lot of times for clients, I have them put sticky notes all over, like whatever mirror they get ready in every day. What are the positive things I'm going to say to myself? What are the mantras I'm going to say to myself? And that kind of stuff. So that's kind of along the same lines.
Yeah. I think accountability is really key when it comes to goal setting.
It is.
If you have someone that's checking in on you and you're checking in on them, it becomes much more of a big deal to make sure that you get your homework done.
Very true. When you have someone to check in with and you're like, oh, I didn't do my homework.
Mm-hmm. You need an accountability buddy.
That's right.
There we go. That's how we do the rest of the podcast. Yes.
She's like, what is happening?
Well, let's end this section with each of us saying a couple of goals that we're going to try and accomplish over the next year. Should we do 3, 1 in each of those categories you say you usually try for?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, so we're going to each talk about the 3 goal areas, like what we'd like to set for the next year.
Yes. So for self-improvement, what goal are you going to set?
I'm going to set a goal that I make a lot of I don't make them. I offer as an option to a lot of clients to choose, which is to build my meditation skills. There's so much research about meditation and how it literally rewires and rebuilds your brain. And it doesn't take much time every day to get that effect. It just takes consistency of days in a row. Yes. So I have this app called Balance, and you get the first year for free. And I think I've got a good 4 or 5 months left of my free year. And it has a course for beginners, things where it's only like 3 minutes long and really talks you through what to do with the thoughts when they come up and, what meditation is and isn't, that kind of thing. So one goal that I'm going to have is to increase my meditation skills. And haven't really broken that down much further yet, but that's kind of my general one.
Have you tried Headspace? Do you like that one?
I did do Headspace. During COVID, they made that free for healthcare professionals, and therapists were part of that. So I did that one for a year, and I loved it. It was great in that it also has courses you can take, stress reduction, anxiety, meditation for sleep, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's very simple, easy to follow along. Sends out reminders to you every day. I'm sorry.
What was the first app you mentioned?
Balance.
Okay, I'm taking notes. I think one that they recommend at work a lot is Calm.
Yeah, I have that one now too because it has sleep stories for kids. That's what Ari uses at night to fall asleep. But they also, it's meditation mindfulness app, and they have courses as well.
Yeah.
I think I did an anxiety course with them. For some reason, it didn't seem as simple, I guess, as the balance one is. So I think maybe I'll do the balance one, and then I'll like step up to the calm one.
Yeah. I
How
think
about
my
you?
self-improvement goal for this year is going to be going for things more, if that makes sense. This is the first job where I have felt comfortable enough to put my ideas out there. I feel like I know what I'm talking about. And before I was very timid about things, even in leadership, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to have to ask a million questions and make sure I'm doing the right thing before I do it. So I'm going to work on being more confident in that area. And then also, if, for instance, promotions come up, things like that, I think instead of second guessing whether or not that's something I should go for, I'm just going to go for it and then see what happens. I've always just kind of been like the person that just shows up and does their job. And at this one, I feel like I could keep going.
Yeah.
Your health goal for this year.
Health goal. Ugh. I think I might do a few things along the lines of what I did last year, which at the beginning of last year, I wrote down some things I'd like to make healthy swaps for. Things that are like, less chemical ingredients for something, that kind of stuff. And I made a lot of really good healthy swaps last year. So I think I'd like to continue a trend in that way, maybe picking out 4 or so more things to find swaps for. And then I'd like to make a fitness goal this year as far as like some sort of fitness routine. Probably another walking goal, just because I have the treadmill, I have the access, I don't have to go anywhere to do it. And I do have a fairly predictable schedule these days. So I think I could figure out how to do that. I just need to do it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to set a goal around walking, like a weekly goal maybe, and then a goal around some swaps.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, so my goal is going to be more meal prep. I used to be really good at doing meal prep, keep more healthy things in the house, go back to making like
Yes.
not overnight oats, but like the chia thing.
The chia pudding?
Chia pudding? Yeah, I love chia pudding.
I've never had it. I need to try that.
Oh, it's so good. And then I really like doing like a chocolate peanut butter one, but you can do ones with fruit and all kinds of stuff.
Chocolate peanut butter sounds good.
Yeah. Chocolate peanut butter everything. Chocolate peanut butter banana. That's my jam right there. What financial goal do you have for yourself?
I'd like to pay off credit card debt.
Ooh.
And I'd like to get a better savings account in place for Ari. I have kind of fixed what I was doing this year, and now I'd like to start something for her. My issue thus far has been that it's hard to open anything for a minor. And don't come at me with your 409 whatever plans. I don't want that. I have looked into that extensively, and it's not it's not going to fit the goals the flexibility I would like Ari to have to choose what to do with the money. So
kind of like those CDs we used to get, and when we needed them in college, they hadn't matured yet.
yes.
Yeah.
The 409 plans are great if you know that your kid is going to want to go to college and go to a very specific accepted college that where you can pull those funds out and use them for that. Like it's very specific on the things you can use it for. And there are a lot of people in Ari's genetic line who did not go the college route and had brains that did other things really well, things that you can do in trade school and stuff like that. So I don't want to limit her options.
Sure.
Or, you know, some people who don't even go to higher education. Maybe she wants to buy a house with money. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to start something for her to start saving so that she either has it when she needs it or can build her retirement off of it.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty smart. I like that.
Yeah, looking into those options. What are the companies where I can open an HYSA or a Roth IRA for a minor? As the places I open mine don't do that yet, although they said they are working on it. So we'll see. I guess if there's extra, probably regulations and things around that, but I'd like it to just be in her name and just have it for herself. But we'll see. I guess for now I'll start it in mine and then transfer it or something.
Yeah, you could do that, or I know it won't build as quickly, but maybe if you made her some kind of savings account or something and then put it into one as soon as you could. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a regular savings for her when she was a baby, and I was building that up pretty well when we were married, but as soon as we separated, I quit putting into it.
Yeah.
Because it's just surviving.
Yeah.
And the other day I did transfer a hunk of that into my HYSA because I just make such a higher percentage of interest there.
Yeah.
Like a huge difference. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to put it in here and help us grow interest and then try to find some way to keep track of like what's hers versus mine within the account and all of that. Not that it really matters too much in the end, but I don't want to like wind up using hers for some emergency. That's where I'm putting my emergency fund. So
yeah,
I got to make sure I don't like dip into what's hers, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out. How about you? What's your financial goal this year?
I think my financial goal is going to be paying off any debts I have that are below 500. Like I have a few smaller things like the washing machine. We had some repairs to our HVAC. All of those have gotten below the $500 mark. $3,000 back into the savings. Hopefully it won't take me a full year to do that.
Yeah.
But I think those are going to be my financial goals for the year.
Yeah, that's another one of mine is like the first step you're supposed to do is build that emergency fund. And mine isn't, I think it's supposed to be like 3 to 6 months of your income. So I'd like to get it to 3 months of my income. Yeah. And it would be very wise for me to have that because I do get laid off so often. That it would be smart of me to have that lined up. And
do we say by the same company?
What?
By the same company?
Yep. Oh, we don't have a position for you, except, we actually have like 50 open positions for you to apply for. They're just not ones that you really want, and we haven't been able to fill them, so.
Yeah.
This time that wasn't the case. This one was actually just opening the one that I got, but before that has been the case.
I know a lot of the things that Dave Ramsey says are controversial. I do like the baby steps program. And with that one, you put 1,000 in savings until you've paid everything off. And then you start building the bigger fund. And that has come in handy, but I want to say 3 to 4 times now we've gotten past that step and then had to go back to that step because we depleted the savings and had to stop snowballing debt and going back to putting things in the savings, which it happens. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But I wish it would stop it.
Amen.
So yeah, I think we have some pretty good goals lined up here.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to maybe at the end of next year, we can do a show where we see what we've accomplished, or if we accomplish goals along the way, maybe we'll do like a little highlight during one of the podcasts. That could be fun.
Yeah. Or if we find
If
different
you're
ways to like track the different goals, we can share that too along the way.
Yeah, that could be fun. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below one goal from each category for yourself. So you need a financial goal, you need a health wellness goal, and you need a self-improvement goal. So one in each category, something smart, reasonable, measurable, attainable.
You don't have to put the entire detailed SMART goal in if you don't want to share all your personal info,
just
but
keep in mind that it needs to be something that you can reasonably achieve. So I really look forward to seeing what everybody's goals are going to be. I'm not a New Year's resolution person just because I find that to be one of those things where it's like everybody states it at the beginning of the year and then nobody does anything. But I do like having goals throughout life and celebrating them when you achieve them. And you should. Once you achieve a goal, make sure that you celebrate it, whether you treat yourself to dinner or buy yourself some chocolate or drink some wine or go spend a weekend with the girls, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure that when you achieve a goal that you do celebrate it.
Yeah, you got to keep track of those positive things and keep focused on them, because the brain has a natural negative bias and we got to actively fight against it all of the time. If you have your steps broken down, celebrate each step and read them once a month and remind yourself of all the good steps you've made, so you're not just focused on all the things you haven't done yet.
Get that vision board going.
That's right.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us. As always, you can check us out on workingmomswine.com. We have a TikTok, Patreon, Instagram. If you search Working Moms Wine, those should come up. Everything is linked on the website. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave comments, any questions, anything like that. If you want to interact with us on the show, there's some options there on Patreon. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Bye.